Let's talk about the first way to solve a quadratic equation, which is going to be by factoring. We already covered how to factor in our previous video, so keep that knowledge in hand. Hopefully you know that, or go back and review that video if you don't. But the main thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to factor this quadratic equation so we end up with something times something equals 0. And then we can apply the zero product property that we talked about previously. So here, what I have is x squared plus 6x is equal to 0. Notice that the c term, which would normally be there, it's a constant, is just 0 in this case. The a term is 1, is understood 1 right there, and the b term is a positive 6. So let's try to factor this. Well, the first thing you want to do when you're trying to factor is see if there's anything shared between all the terms here. Both these terms have an x in it, so we're going to factor out an x. And we're going to be left with x plus 6. Now, one of the things I didn't mention is before you start factoring, you want to make sure that one side is equal to 0. Because if you factor it without one side being equal to 0, you won't be able to apply the zero product property. So now what we have is x times x plus 6 is equal to 0. And so that means that either this x can equal 0 or this x plus 6 can equal 0, or both of them could equal 0. And so we could set them that way. We could set x is equal to 0. We can set x plus 6 is equal to 0. This is already solved for us, so that's good to go. So we know one solution is x is equal to 0. The other one, we just got to solve this linear that we result with, and we get x is equal to negative 6. And so our solution set for this quadratic equation is going to be the set containing 0 and negative 6. Let's look at another one. Here we have 2x squared is equal to x plus 3. And so we have a problem here. It's not equal to 0. So we need to get it in that form. So to make one side equal to 0, I'm going to subtract x from both sides. I'm going to end up with 2x squared minus x is equal to 3. And we're still not equal to 0, so let's subtract 3 from both sides. And so we'll have 2x squared minus x minus 3 is equal to 0. So let's see if we can factor this. Well, we know that our a is positive 2, our b is negative 1, and our c is negative 3. Let's try the AC method on this. And so AC is going to equal 2 times a negative 3, which is negative 6. And our b term is equal to negative 1. So what we want are two terms that multiply to give me negative 6, and they add to give me negative 1. So let's think about what those terms can be. Looks like a 2 and a 3. Well, let's see how we get a negative 1. Well, if we make the 3 negative, 2 times negative 3 will give me negative 6. 2 plus negative 3 will give me negative 1, so that's going to work out. So let's break this up now. So we're going to write this. We're going to break up that b term. So it's going to be 2x squared, and now it's going to be plus 2x minus 3x. So all we did was rewrite that b term with the values that we found. Minus 3 is equal to 0. Now what we're going to do, and I'm going to rewrite this that everything's one color, so it doesn't look it's confusing. I just wanted you to know where we were doing that. So it's going to be 2x squared plus 2x minus 3x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now what we're going to do is try to factor this. So we're going to look at the first pair. What can we pull out of there? What do they have in common? Well, they both have a 2 and an x. We're going to pull out a 2x, and we're left with x plus 1. Now, I also want to pull something out of the negative 3x minus 3, so that way I end up with an x plus 1. I want them to end up with the same thing, and it looks like I pull out a negative 3. There. Okay. So, let me make some room up here. So, what we need to do is now we're going to pull an x plus 1 out of this term, x plus 1 out of this term. So we're going to have that x plus 1 times what's left over, the 2x minus 3. and that's equal to 0. So now we can apply the zero product property. Either x plus 1 is equal to 0 or 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. Solve those up, subtract 1, get x is equal to negative 1, and here we'll get x is equal to 3/2. And so my solution set for this quadratic equation will be negative 1 and 3/2. And that's how to solve a quadratic equation by factoring.